her Cosmic Light Academy. She has a talent for transforming lives and empowering her clients to overcome inhibitions and past experiences. She has had training with a group of mystic masters, which led her to an 8-year radio talk show in Los Angeles, as well as appearances on national talk shows. Her psychic skills got her working with law enforcement agencies, even training some in the CIA and Secret Service. She specializes in awakening others through her intuition power training courses, past life readings, and her hands-on healing work with holographic kinesiology and sound and light. Additionally, she teaches people the remarkable ability to bend metal using her minds. And I have taken the class and bent a spoon. Ultimately, JacQueline's primary focus is on helping individuals swiftly improve their lives and navigate their journey with increased awareness, meaning, and joy. Her topic today is unbreakable faith, turning life's challenges into divine gifts. So I welcome you to the stage, JacQueline. And Philip, please push the record button. He's on it.
Good morning, everybody. This guy said, I want to come today. Who is this? Anybody know? Okay. Oh, all right. Okay, so there's a lot of things I want to talk about today. I've been doing this work for a long, long time, but it wasn't always that way. And good morning. And so the story was I didn't have a clue about consciousness when I was growing up. And I started getting major hints. One was going to the bank for an opening, and they said, come to the bank opening, there's an astrologer. Like, okay. At that point, it was in the 70s, and it was saying, what's your sign was big starting in the newspapers. I'm that old. Okay, so get to the bank. Astrologer's on break, and they said, oh, while you're waiting for the astrologer, why don't you have that done? So I look over there, and there's this woman with long, straggly hair sitting at a card table, writing backwards in script, sitting with someone. And I said, what the H is that? And they said, oh, her spirit guide is giving messages while you're waiting for the astrologer. Why don't you have that done? No, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you. People going ahead of me. And finally, I said, okay, very important thing to do every once in a while, to say yes to opportunities, even though they may look weird. So I sat there, and she wrote 6 pages backwards. I left the bank. I did not open a bank account. But as I walked through the threshold, I knew that psychic stuff was real. Because the things she told me, there was no way. I asked about one sister, and she said she answered that question. She would write, and then she would stop. Her hand would stop, and she'd say, do you have another question? Doing automatic handwriting. Yes, I asked another question. Her hand would start. We were having a conversation while her hand was going. Her hand would stop. Do you have another question? I asked about one sister. She answered it. At the end, she read me the whole thing, and she said, and your other sister needs nutritional guidance. She needs potassium and iodine. Hardly talked to my older that sister, so I rushed home, showed her the notes. She ran into her bathroom and said, I was at the doctor last week and they gave me that prescription. That type of specific. So planting seeds that these things happen was part of my journey. And so when I was in my and she was talking to other people as her hand was going, and it was pretty, that's a whole different story. But it planted seeds because she said, you can learn all kinds of things. You can learn to do this. You can learn other things. And so the journey started when I was really 25. And going to a woman who was a trance medium. She would go into a trance. You could close your eyes during the meditation, and I could be sitting as close as I am to Carol, maybe 15 feet, 10 feet, and in the meditation, open my eyes, and I would see the person channeling through, a little oriental voice, a little person in a kimono, a huge space kind of voice, and a big space being. Every week, 2 or 3 beings would come through in meditation. And, you start to think, is this crazy? Yeah, it's pretty crazy, but she wasn't asking for money. She wasn't asking for us to do things. And the messages seemed kind of really supportive and helpful. So I kept going. And 2 years later, she moved away. And I ended up meeting this group of mystic masters that just moved to Los Angeles. Just as I was in meditation, I need to know. I need more. I don't know what I need, but I am thirsty. I am hungry. I must have more. What do I do? Where do I go? Well, the first 2 years of classes with that trance medium, beautiful teacher, Marla Oliver, said, all of your answers can come in meditation. So I was waiting. And then within a couple weeks, I was guided, and these people just moved to Los Angeles, where I was living. So the bottom line is, the teachers then said, we're going to accelerate you. We're going to teach you how to get in touch with your early childhood, clear that stuff, past lives accurately, clear that stuff, not only the problems, but pull forward the talents and abilities that you've had in the past. And then you can maybe even tune into the future. Because if evolution is real, then if you've had past lives, you're going to have future lives. And if you have future lives, eventually they're going to be a metaphysician, a mystic, an adept, a master teacher. And a master teacher has control over time and space and can go in meditation, and they can tap into, send a message to their past and affect that. How many of you have gone into some kind of class that has said, send a message to yourself as a young child? Anybody? Yeah, a lot of you. Okay, so why not past lives? And I was in, I did past life work for like 20 years, and then I was in a TV special, and the producer came in and said, is it important for people to believe in past lives? And I said, no, I don't really care whether people believe it or not. I don't really care that much if it is real or not. What I care about is the quality of life here and now. And if that idea of past lives is a fantasy, I don't care. But in my life, I do believe, because I do remember, and there's a difference between fantasy and memory, and so there's a way of telling the difference. So in the movement of developing your skills as an intuitive and as a successful being here, as we say we are spiritual beings having a human experience, not all the time do things flow the way we ask for them. Not all the time, right? Anybody break anything? Well, a couple weeks ago, now 2 months, April 12th exactly, I actually was going to, I was talking to my neighbor, and there's the wasp. And I said, I've got the solution. I've got this orange guard stuff. So I go back home. I said, let's spray it. And I grabbed the thing, and I'm like running now. And for some reason, I ran in between these things, and it caught my leg, and I'm running, and I'm propelled forward with great speed. And I'm holding the bottle here, and I put out my arm. And the next thing I know, I'm on the ground. My hand is over here. My wrist is over here. I broke both bones. And I immediately went into spoon bending, triage. How do I bend metal? How do I bend these molecules back to where they're supposed to be? Meantime, I had I had one of those, a new iWatch Ultra And when I didn't want one. And I was, at the last minute of the year, they said, oh, your insurance allows you to have a fitness thing, $600 or something. And I said, well, I don't want to waste that. I'll buy this watch. Oh, look at this. If somebody falls down or something, it calls the ambulance. I'll never need that. I don't even want to wear that. I happen to have it on my wrist that day, and the next thing I know, I'm sitting on the ground looking at my hand in one direction and the watch is talking to me. We have a feeling you fell. We're sending an ambulance. Do you need the ambulance right now? And I'm going, well, that's cool. I don't know. I'm in shock. So anyway, I'm doing all these patterns of sacred geometry in my head. I'm revisualizing the whole thing before it happened, like it didn't happen. I'm in acceptance. I'm in denial. I'm in all of these different stages of process. And so my neighbor comes out, takes me to the hospital, and again, I'm doing all this stuff and prayers, and they finally give me some fentanyl. It's like, okay, and all the time, I must have been in shock because I didn't have a lot of pain, and I was using my skills. I was using my breathing techniques. Everybody, take a deep breath, hold it for a second, and then release. We don't do enough breathing every day, right? And breathing consciously. So I'm going to start to, because as you start to heal, you're able to increase your ability. And so the crutch and the brace that you have, whether it be an emotional drama, loss, fear, or a physical trauma, pain, discomfort, dis-ease, all of those things that we go through as the human experience. The breath is the practice, is what they say in yoga. And yoga needs to be our life, that connection with breath. Every day to take a few conscious breaths. Breathe in. How many of you know about heart math? Heart math? Yes, a lot of you. And it's breathe in to 6, hold for 3, breathe out for 6, hold for 3. Let's do it for a moment. Breathe in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hold 2, 3, out 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hold in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hold 2, 3, out 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and keep going. And you can open your eyes. And if you set intention before you start to do the breathing, even better. So I was always waiting for the x-rays and all that. I'm breathing. And, I have no idea how bad it is. My neighbor said, oh, I was a physical therapist. I know, you just dislocated. I was like, dislocated? It's like, no, I don't think so. I can fix it, he says, and he runs over to grab my, leave me alone, get away from me. Right? I'm in shock, but I'm not that bad. Okay. So they had me hanging to straighten things out, and I'm feeling no pain. I'm on the fentanyl injection and all that. It's like, okay, I'm okay. I'm in good hands and whatever. And I'm still doing the PK, the visualization, and like going before it happened and seeing it not happening, and I'm fine. And then, the balance between accepting reality and letting it go and deciding what you really want and focusing on that. And so then the doctor says, I'm going to have to give you an injection and thing. And I go, okay. And he goes, it may not really work all that well. I said, now I'm praying. Best shot ever, ever. Like, he can do this, right? Thank you, God, for the angels. And anyway, P.S., They fixed it all up. They squished it all back into shape and everything. And afterwards, the doctor came back and said, I need to tell you, that was the absolute best lidocaine injection I've ever done in my entire life. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so then, so I go and, so then they said, you'll probably need surgery. So I ended up going to the surgeon, and long story short, I got screwed. I got 18 screws put in my arm and a lot of hardware, two metal things. And so that screwing was giving me support. And 3 weeks ago, I could do this. I couldn't move. I could just barely do this, and I could just barely do that. And now I'm getting back flexibility and strength, and I could, like a week ago, I could lift 1 pound. I could lift a coffee cup without coffee in it. Now I can do about 3 pounds or something, but my arm is getting strong again, and I'm doing the exercise. And the exercises are uncomfortable. And I breathe during that to help move the energy. And I also know how to do energy work, so I do the energy work. I am not so much tuning forks, because when you have broken bones, not so good to use tuning forks. It gets them vibrating, and it actually is not so good for healing to a certain point. And then after a certain point, yeah, it's good. So, but I know the acupuncture meridians, and I'm helping things along. So why did I bring this guy? This guy is Pinocchio and his little wooden puppet, and sometimes I say dummy, puppet. And it's Pinocchio was created by his father and sent outside and said, go learn and go to school, learn and be good. So he goes to little Jiminy Cricket, how do I know if I'm good or not? He goes, let your conscience be your guide, tap dance, tap dance. Well, what's a conscience? It's what tells you what's right from wrong. I don't think I have a conscience, says Pinocchio. Well, I'll be your conscience. So all through the story, Geppetto's trying to, Grasshopper, Jiminy is trying to catch up with him. Finally, he goes to the bad kids, and they're all being turned into donkeys, workhorses, asses, workhorses, donkeys, and the guy sprouts a tail and ears, and then he starts to realize, Jiminy Cricket comes in, quick, follow me. Finally, he listens to his conscience, his higher self. In search of his father, his creator, he finds at the bottom of the ocean in the whale of Jonah the whale. And there's a reunion, the depths of the subconscious mind. And I'm getting confirmation chills as I'm saying this. Okay, the depths of, and he has a reunion with his father, his creator, and they create a flame, a fire, spiritual energy, and they get blown out. P.S. At the end of this story, Pinocchio is in bed, and the good fairy comes flying in the window and says, Pinocchio, you've now proven you've earned the right to be flesh and blood, and clink with the fairy wand. Pinocchio is now a real human boy. And that's a story of an initiation that goes on, and that's where the general public is at this point. Over the next 3 months, people are going to start waking up to their intuition, their creativity, their psychic stuff, and the general public is going to start to go a little bit nuts, because they're going to freak out a little bit or a lot. Not that they're doing that now already with all the division and divisiveness. So they're going to start to be able to see and recognize truth, and they're going to be going through their own internal battles. And so as you breathe and do your regular meditation and show up at groups like this that are supportive to each other and use each other in this, there's so much love in this group. I've been to churches around and groups and synagogues around the country and in foreign countries, and I'm not just saying that. This group is so absolutely in their heart and sharing and loving. It is a thank you. It is a thank you all for being in that space. But when you break something or have something broken, you take responsibility for it. And you can look at the symbology, you can look at all of the things that happen, and it's a gift. Every single moment that happens to you is a gift in life, no matter how painful or challenging, frustrating, or whatever. And if you start to use that as a daily affirmation, what gifts do I have today coming to me? And at the end of the night, you review the gifts and go, how could this be a gift? Because as you accept and let it go and just breathe in the present moment, no matter what happens, that's the God presence in the silence, in the quiet. And you accept, and then the insights and the truth will come, either through your dream, either through an insight, or somebody just giving you a parking spot or helping you out the door with packages. So life will give you that joy, that support, and especially when you have emotional issues, mental issues, loss. We all have that. We all have lost relatives, lost friends, lost things that we've, had. Thank God for that I'm blessed that I haven't lost my home like the people in Paradise or Lahaina or Los Angeles. So the blessings just continue to overflow. And I didn't have time to talk about this. This is Master Subramanya. I'm all right now. I'm all right now. It's this little thing, this little book. And Master was a master. He would bilocate. I met him several times. He was a very good friend of my teacher's. And so I had heard a lot of inside stories from a lot of gurus around the world because of the people that trained me. And it's, I don't want to say they're human. They're human, and they're evolved humans with integrating the divine. And each and every one of you have that divine, that divinity within you, and we're just unfolding it. So the next time something happens, a disappointment, a car breakdown, a physical challenge, God forbid, everything should be beautiful and lovely the rest of your life. And when your time is right to move on to the next, may you go to sleep and check out and easily, effortlessly, without pause or hesitation. But the point is to accept whatever happens and to be unbreakable with your faith. And to do that, it takes practice, personally and collectively, because the group supports each other. When I walked in, people, and I just wore this to make a statement. I don't need to wear it anymore. Thank God. Thank you. And thank you. And I give it love on a daily basis, and I do my exercises, and they're uncomfortable because growing and getting better is uncomfortable. So get the support. My therapist is amazing. I get to go twice a week, and he just pushes it. And as we talk, it's like, and he'll warn me sometimes, this might, and I'll just do the breathing and stuff, and then it's better. So sometimes the growth is uncomfortable. Use the support that you have. Honor yourself, love yourself, and remember the divinity within yourself. And with that, I am complete. Thank you. Oh, and learn to bend spoons with your mind. It's an amazing experience.
Well, thank you, JacQueline. That was very enlightening. Lots of really good information in that. Appreciate it.